Hey, how we doing?
Hello.
Hello. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, this is Evan Layton with HTown Happy Hour.
Derek Diotalevi here at HTown Happy Hour, #1 podcast in the world.
#1 podcast in the world, baby. And our two very special guests for you today.
Hello.
Hello.
Introduce yourself, ladies. Who are y'all?
My name is Marlana Doyle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the founding artistic and executive director of Houston Contemporary Dance Company and also the president and CEO of the Institute of Contemporary Dance.
Wow.
Lots of dance.
Yes,
Yay, lots of dance.
The big one.
And
I am
Alecia?
Alecia Lawyer, not a lawyer. I play the oboe, not the elbow, and I've already kicked it off with a really silly vibe here. But it's ROCO, artistic director and oboist. So yeah, founded that too.
Okay. So what is ROCO?
ROCO is a professional 40-piece chamber orchestra. Half the musicians are not from Houston, and we play chamber music and orchestra concerts throughout Houston. We embed our music in the city and weave it all throughout what we do. And we do living composers a lot of times. We've done 120 world premieres with living composers. You can't Zoom with Beethoven. We have discovered that. And so it's a good thing to be able to be in conversations with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. So what is Houston Contemporary Dance?
Houston Contemporary Dance is a nonprofit dance organization. It's brand new. I've been in the city for 20 years, so I started this in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
We're going into our third season. So we are a dance company that is a repertory company. So we bring in artists from all over the U.S., eventually the world, to come to Houston and set work on my dancers. And then we perform concerts. We also do a lot of educational outreach, which
Beautiful.
has been a little bit on pause just due to the pandemic.
Right.
So we're looking forward to getting back into the schools and working with the kiddos. And then I run a dance studio too.
All over the
not
place.
a nonprofit.
We're doing business over here.
That's right.
We're doing business. It's a new space, again, open during the pandemic, not ideal, not part of the business plan, but we are surviving, and we have classes for 2.5-year-olds all the way through adults. All levels,
Beautiful.
all
Now,
styles.
how did y'all find each other?
Oh, my goodness.
How did y'all find each other, huh?
Well, we have been kind of just friendly and
Connected,
connected
Like
throughout.
the arts are in Houston.
Yeah.
So we found each other, I think, a long time ago through some other dance things and in meetings and all sorts of things through Houston Arts Alliance. And then you founded this beautiful dance group, and ROCO was founded, and two founders met in a woods, and then there it goes.
And let's make some power moves.
Yeah,
Let's make
exactly.
a power
You just
move.
started playing music and she just started dancing.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it happened.
She's like, I just need to show you how I feel, all right? I need to show you.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's
That's
nothing
I mean,
wrong
dance
with that.
is always so much better with live music. So
Yeah.
any way we can collaborate with, and there's so many amazing groups, but this is our first time with ROCO, so we're really, really excited about
What
this.
is the first time with ROCO?
This collaboration.
Okay, so y'all are collaborating.
Yeah, and
What is this
well, we were so
collaboration?
excited to be seeing the post and
Yes.
opening, and I mean, we've both had our eye on that for decades. I mean, I had, but I do remember years ago coming and doing our bulk mail, and it was actually quite depressing to come here because you would always not do it right, and you'd have to bring your bulk mail and your brochures you wanted to mail. But now it's turned into this magnificent performance space, dining place,
Yep.
everything, and to be able to, we opened it last weekend
Yep.
with a concert and gala, and then I realized that we wanted to collaborate together, and I remembered, well, for some random reason, that October 9th is World Post Day.
Yeah.
So,
How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
How about that? And then and she was already kind of thinking
She's
about
doing
the
good on the show, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all both doing good.
And then she was like, I want to do that in the
Giving me a hard time.
X atrium.
Yep.
And so we're already in the Z atrium, and I don't know what we're going to do in the O at some point. But so yeah, and so she already had the dance kind of concept, and then I really wanted something that was a little just not crossover, that's not the right word, but something unique. And the Elvis Costello has written these quartets for string quartet. So it's not something you think about for music that's classical, right?
Yeah.
And they're just really interesting. They're called Juliet Letters, and they're imagining that Juliet wrote letters to people and to Romeo and everybody else.
And they just use their imagination on what they think she would be saying?
Correct. Yeah.
As if
So
they were
imagine-
never sent.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was his idea.
Yeah.
So
Like
and-
writing them as if they were never sent, and like who would receive them and how that works.
So the cap is limitless on that. You can
And
write
interpretation
forever.
is also
Yeah.
limitless.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Well, that is what artwork is, though. You know what I mean? It's about your
ever
perception
evolving.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ever evolving and pulling all the strings in. I mean, our
about-
season
yeah.
this year is like musical threads and all the strings that we've even talked about. You know, when you meet somebody, you've got all these connections, and that's what's so beautiful about Houston is finding those unique connections.
Isn't it
and
though?
threads.
Right.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
I mean, and also it's funny because I mean, no matter where you go, I mean, if you see someone with any sort of like Texas or Houston attire. You're just like, hey, bring it in. Bring it in. What's up, fam? How you doing?
Texas is one of like the most proud states, and Houston is like the most proud city.
Well, no, it is, because you could be like, oh, we're from Dallas, and we'll be like, yeah, that sucks. Only thing good to come out of Dallas is 45 South, baby.
Yeah.
You know?
Just to kind of add to what
it's H-Town over here, okay?
I'm writing that one down to tell my son.
I took that from him, to be real.
my grandma taught me that one.
It's
Honestly,
really
my
good.
grandma taught me that one. I use it every day, and I'm always copywriting in my head. I'm like, thanks, abuelita.
Really good.
So yeah, like Alicia was saying, post Houston, we're opening to the public November 13th, but we're having like a pre-opening preview of our X Atrium.
Yes.
Yeah, pre-opening
Pre-opening
preview. Kirby
preview.
coined that, so.
Okay.
Honest.
Pre-pre.
So ROCO will be performing with a 4-string quartet, and Marlana and Houston Contemporary Dance will be performing a contemporary dance on all across the stairs. And
and I saw the little bit of the preview of it, and it just it looked so like interactive. I mean,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the way they're moving, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, man, I can't do that. Like this is why you buy tickets to something like this, you know? I mean, it just the moves. It looked very elegant.
there was such a good reaction
Absolutely.
to it too online.
Right.
Like people. We hadn't really, especially even on HTown Happy Hour, but on Post too, we hadn't really done something that artsy yet. And just to see people respond so well to the music as well as the dancing, it was like, oh, this is cool. This is really cool.
They're
That's gonna
craving
be
that
great.
connection, and the fact that we have and it's a singer as well. It's not Elvis Costello. I did try. I tried. She knows how hard I tried.
I was like, okay.
And if this gets out there, I'm disappointed in you, Elvis. I'm just gonna say this.
Tag him at him.
Tag him, exactly. Thank you.
We got it. We got
Thank
it.
you. So no, we have this great Eduardo Tessera. He's a beautiful voice, and he's gonna have kind of jazz it up a little too. But what's also fun is we're pairing it with another a piece for string quartet by Shostakovich, which may sound out of place and weird, but when Elvis Costello heard the Brodsky Quartet performing Shostakovich string quartets, he had the idea to write Juliet Letters, and he collaborated with them. And what's cool about that is Shostakovich heard this quartet that was named the Beethoven Quartet, and he started writing all his 15 string quartets for them. So there's just, to me, that's all this, again, threads and threads and threads, and
It all
spinning.
intertwines. It all
Exactly.
intertwines. Yeah, I can see the fascination.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're knowledgeable on it. Half the stuff you said, I'm like,
No, it's good. It's just
to
that
Chavez, something about a Chavez. Yeah, I was
no,
like,
no,
man, this
it's
sounds
just
good.
that people are connected, and the fact we're connected, now something beautiful comes out of it, and that's really the point. You don't need to remember the reasons or whys. That's
Right.
what music can connect people that may not have ever been connected before.
Sure can.
And then in between the two things we're doing, you want to tell about Outspoken Bean?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah. So
He was here, I know.
Yeah, we
I'm gonna-
had such a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up though because I
Yeah.
met Kirby 7 years ago,
Yeah.
in 2015, and I was, I don't know how we connected, but we did, and we went into the space. My husband and I, we were looking at it, and he was telling me all the cool things that are gonna happen, and it's just really fulfilling for me after 7 years to see this place actually
Have to come to
because,
fruition.
well, because of Harvey and just other things that have kind of
The
set
freeze,
it back.
Harvey, the COVID.
It's been a lot of things, so I'm just super excited. And when I started Houston Contemporary, he did find me and he reached out and said, like, I still want to do this. And I just think kudos to him for being a real estate person and real estate broker and real estate broker's son to even think about the arts, because we need more people like Kirby. So,
Right.
and then I think the idea of bringing in live music in that space, which is why I reached out to Alecia, and then also keeping the diversity in the city represented. And so Outspoken Bean's also a really good friend of mine. I've been supporting him previous to him being the Houston Poet Laureate, but he's pretty amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we've done my first promo video with him. He wrote the poem, an original poem for us, and then he performed we had concerts all through COVID because we were a new organization at my space.
So you were just doing it anyway, against the rules.
Doing it, well, not really.
Not
We did
against
it
the rules.
safely.
Yeah.
We did it safely.
Outlaw-ish, though.
Yeah, I
Outlaw.
mean-
We're still doing it, but we're no
Outliers.
rules.
Outliers.
We had, in November we had 9 shows, but only at 25 people per show because we were able to distance them.
Yeah.
And with dance, the dancers have been dancing in mass for 18 months. But long story short, we did a duet show in February, and Bean came and did an original work. So And then he emceed one of our shows. I mean, we just have always done things with
Yeah.
him. So this seemed like a great opportunity for the Post to have him there.
Yep.
And for us to work with ROCO and have him involved. So he's doing a set himself.
Yeah.
He's doing like a 10-minute original letter poem.
Yeah.
We keep talking about, World
Is it a
Post
Juliet
Day.
letter? Is it a Juliet letter?
It's his own original.
Okay.
He went off piece a little.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's an
Yeah.
outspoken
It's-
bean letter.
It's an outspoken bean.
That's
Yeah,
right.
letter.
Well, the
And
one he did on show for us over here was
That
just
was
mind
amazing.
blowing.
That was amazing.
He's
I
incredible.
mean,
Yeah.
he's an amazing poet. Spoken word is kind of one of those art forms that not a lot of people know about. And I feel like, the more we can support him and represent him, the better.
Absolutely.
But also the fact that he wrote something original, and then he also has one dancer with him as
Yep.
well. So we're just really looking forward to seeing what he creates and
Yeah.
talking about World Post Day and talking, I mean, in general, as a poet, you write a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it made sense to me to have him there. So we're excited for that too. So ROCO will open, Bean will do his thing, and then we'll do a collaborative together.
It's going to be
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
It's October 9th, y'all. Y'all can get tickets on any of our pages.
That's right.
Any of our pages.
Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. Mixedmessages.eventbrite.com. Don't miss it. All right. So,
So now you said you've been doing dance for how long
Exactly.
now?
20 years.
20 years.
But I started when I was 3, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am. so more
you've
than
been
20.
dancing
Don't worry,
for
man.
2 years.
Just turned 25. Here we
There
are.
it is. Come on now. She said since the beginning, though.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I moved here in 2001. I'm originally from Boston.
Oh, I thought you were about to say
Massachusetts.
Dallas. I was
No,
going to say,
no,
girl,
no.
come on now.
You don't have the
She
Boston
got
accent.
smart.
I
She
do
got smart.
not. I do
Okay.
not. I moved to Pittsburgh to go to school for my undergrad, then moved here.
When'd you come to Texas?
2001, right
Okay.
after Allison.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
Let me ask you this. Did you always dance contemporary or
yes.
really?
Yeah, and contemporary is kind of a broad term,
Yeah.
so we do a little bit of everything. And in my time here in the city, I've done collaborative things and I've done commercial things. Like I work for the city of Houston. I choreograph for the parade. I choreograph for the mayor tree lighting.
Wow.
I did a gig right when I moved here for Walmart and Levi's.
Wow.
Now, how did they reach out to you? Did they just see your work?
just kind of found with the organization I was working with, found me, and then kind of made it work. And in the time that I've been here, I've done a little bit of everything, but I also have 2 children, so physically I had to stop dancing.
But they are dancing still, right?
My kids are dancing,
Yeah.
but I'm not really dancing anymore. I'm just kind of directing. It's
You're
just
choreographing.
How about that?
Choreographing.
whole
Right on
business
cue.
side of it, too.
Right on cue.
yeah, I mean, we both wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
I mean, them being a larger organization and being more established here in the city, being 3-year dance organization means you have to do a lot more. So
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, at one point, as experienced as you are right now, there was a point where you were 3 years in.
I am still the janitor. Yes. No, it's absolutely true. That's what takes the most time is figuring out who does what and who you need to hire to get the job done. And it's been so exciting. I mean, we are in our 17th season, and we're at a 1.5
You
million
can look
budget.
forward to that.
That's going to happen.
Okay?
It's
Yes.
going to happen.
That's
High
what I'm
five it.
saying.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And like she said, I mean, we're moms. I have a 18 and 22-year-old boys and college and empty nesting.
Yeah.
And, but sort of. But it's just really great to know that when you're a mom, you actually have to hyper focus, and then you have to hyper prioritize, and you can actually get more stuff done because you don't dwell on things. You just get it done in the car. I text with
It's
Siri
so funny.
all the time.
It's so funny
and
that you say that because I have this little like on Facebook. There's
because
like
you're a mom.
no, no.
He's actually a Karen.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Go to a restaurant with him. You will.
Yeah, no, I go to the top and I want that dollar off. I'm not paying for the bacon. I'm not paying for that. Actually, the lack of customer service, that bacon is going to be taken off the bill for everyone's appreciation here. But no, there's a page I'm on. It's like called ADHD and Chill.
All right.
ADHD and Chill. And one of the things about it was like the front of the book said how to get over the stress of things that you haven't accomplished. Opens the book and it says accomplish the task. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. That's how you relieve the stress.
Nike, yeah.
Just do the thing that's stressing
Right,
you out.
right. No, it's
Kind of
true.
like, just to add on to what you were saying, of a hyper focus, and
Absolutely.
you do it, and then it just,
Well, a lot of the stuff that ROCO does, especially how we program, is for unmedicated ADD adults, and that's just how
Right
No
up
one
my alley.
laughed. No one laughed. They don't know me at all. Clearly, they don't know me.
Well, here we are,
You're
man.
like,
I can't wait
wow.
for the
I
show.
appreciated that. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
I didn't know if you were being genuine though. 'Cause I was gonna say,
Sort of,
that-
actually.
yeah.
I sort of am. Everything I say has a
Well,
truth
okay,
to it.
Well,
It's
then
like
also
I
that
speak my truth.
Well, that imagination with unmedicated ADHD
remember that.
folks, it's right on cue for what the art is, because it's like, well, you know what? Take your imagination and think whatever the hell you want to think about it,
Exactly.
and then express that to somebody else. Someone else has a whole different view of it,
Absolutely.
and you're like, wow, now we're buddies. How about that?
Well, you know what's really interesting too is with dance and performing arts, you buy a ticket, you sit in a seat, and you have to experience the art. You're forced to sit there.
Yeah.
Whereas with visual art, you go to a museum and you have the choice to walk past the art. So you kind of have agency to engage with the art.
That's very interesting.
And so what's been fun for me to see on all this, we've been live streaming since 2013. So we didn't have to, the horrible word, we didn't have to pivot. I had to say the word every time I do a podcast. Pivot. We didn't have to pivot, and we did our live streams to no one in the house, but live streamed. We actually had over 250,000 views of our concerts last year.
Beautiful.
So it's so exciting. For classical music, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
Huge number. I'm not going to keep those.
Huge.
You stop. You said you wouldn't even bring that close to this. Okay. Anywho. So that's a big important part about, and also weaving ourselves through the city of Houston, which I know you do so well, and your mind thinks that way so well about it. It's just the Asia Society. We're going to do a concert again of some string music that mimics the creation and destruction of a monk's mandala, which is that sand art thing that they do every year.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and so it's a piece of music that's based on that at
Wow.
Asia Society. So just finding those really wonderful Houston connections is actually perfect for the Post and for your podcast, because that's what you're doing.
It really is.
Well, and honestly, I mean, just to touch on that, I mean, like the amount of people that we've had in here, hearing their unique stories and being able to piece together how we can all form almost like an alliance
That's right.
of the people that are like able to stand up and stand out and take action in their industry. It's like a virtual Rolodex.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've had a wide array, like honestly too, like, you know, when y'all's teams and we kind of talked and we started planning out this podcast, I was so excited. Like, I was genuinely like, dude, this is going to be great. And we even talked about it, you know. I'm sure a big part of our audience.
We did this.
Wait, no, do it again.
Wait, no. TIE Fighter.
So we clicked immediately.
I taught you that.
We clicked immediately. Like, the first time
I
we
have
met, we were doing these.
No
she's
one
cool.
needs to know, Derek.
She's cool. Okay. They don't need to know. But like, and maybe even contemporary dance too. Like, I'm sure they've probably heard about it, or the orchestra and stuff. A lot of them possibly haven't never actually got to see it in person. And so I was like, that's super cool, because we can bring something new to our audience, and as well as y'all can reach some people that may have not have reached necessarily before.
Or open up a new outlet for people who are like, hey, I do enjoy that kind of work.
Yeah.
Right.
Or just, you know, spark that thing for somebody's mind.
Or you used to play in band, or you used to play in orchestra, or
Right.
you just remember. I think that's the hardest part too, and I'm sure it's the same with dance, that the lack of music education in schools has now created an entire generation of parents who've never experienced performing arts. So it's not the kids anymore.
Right.
I mean, we don't necessarily do children's programming, we do multi-generational programming, and that's what's difficult. We actually have childcare music education during and after our concerts, so parents get date nights after our concerts.
Wow.
But that's
Smart.
that's all about the parent.
What a
though.
way to cater to your customers.
Well, exactly. You know,
That's
give them what
huge.
they need.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's, you know, and your dance, that's so important. And you have adult dance too. That's
Right.
important, that everybody still feels that they can move and be connected to
That's
their
right.
bodies.
So hey, so whenever ROCO was first a thing, like whenever it was
was
first
in my
starting
mind.
out, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Talk about the leap of faith that you made in order to say River Oaks.
No,
Chamber.
ROCO.
ROCO.
Stop it.
Formerly known
ROCO.
as.
No, stop it.
Okay.
Tell us about the leap of faith that happened whenever you
Yeah,
started
sure.
doing this.
That's this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that talk about. Yeah.
Well, she has a similar story in that there are no jobs in our field. You have to wait for someone, well, in our case, to, you know, retire or die. And there are just maybe 2 openings across the entire nation for orchestras, and no one knows that. They don't understand the value of the job in an orchestra, right?
Yeah.
And so when you move to a town, because your husband's in oil and gas, and you happen to move to Houston, there are no jobs. And so I was a part of a bunch of startups and had really great ideas, really interesting ideas. They didn't last, but they were really fascinating. I was ready to quit the oboe and be a real estate agent. And the last time I bought a car, they actually did offer me a job. Just saying it. I'm proud.
Nice.
Good. Well, hey, we like your business, but we also want you
Yes,
back.
exactly.
All right?
Totally going to happen. But my church renovated, and when St. John the Divine, the drawings came out, it was truly start an orchestra. And I was like, what? No. And he's like, yeah, you will. And so I thought about people I wanted to play with, not pieces I wanted to play. So we don't do a lot of white dead males. We do a lot of living composers. And I know that you have a really interesting story yourself about how all that changed, but that was truly a start it. And
So it was more or
exciting.
less you were saying, like, I feel like I need to bring the new age composers around, not just composers, but the new age people who
The
were doing
musicians.
this, and give them a chance that isn't very free
well,
like
too,
that anymore.
And let them create with you. Yeah.
I think too, this is important to kind of dive in a little more. Like, okay, you were part of a lot of startups. You said multiple ones. I mean, I'm sure you were learning about the things not to do. And it takes, I've always said this. I said this on the podcast 100 times. Like, I'll build my empire of success with failure over failure over failure.
On the ashes.
So it's really cool that you said that, because honestly, that's between all these interviews we've done, that's been a common theme across all of them.
Fail well, fail often.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. But
Failing forward.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
What is your story?
yeah.
I have an interesting
We
story.
were gonna get to that. We were
Oh
were
my
asking
gosh.
you yours real quick. But
Sorry.
Okay.
Leap of faith.
Yeah, because you said it's been about just a few years that you've been doing this, right?
Yeah, but I've been in this city for 20, but 17 years I worked solely with one organization.
Gotcha. So after these
That
17
didn't
years,
work out.
yeah.
I left. That is a huge leap of faith.
Oh,
to
yeah.
do.
Okay.
You just have
So
to
and then
years,
also,
too.
especially with it being like right in the midst of a
Well,
worldwide
who knew about the pandemic?
Nobody
But
did, but that's what makes it even better that you're still here.
That's right.
right.
That's right. So
So talk about it.
the tenacity and the integrity and like just there were so many things that needed to change, and there was only so much I could do. So a lot of people said either you stay and fix it, which could take years, or maybe it might not work out, or you leave. So I left. And
Don't give me an ultimatum.
yeah,
Don't
I
give me an
left,
ultimatum.
and it was the best thing I think I could have done for myself. I'm 100% happier because I'm in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're very similar in that way. Very A-type and
Yeah.
very.
Oh, I know.
Welcome to the club.
You've not noticed that at all.
No. Continue.
But when you work for someone else and you work for a nonprofit that has a board, you don't really know everything. So
Right.
this
right.
seemed like the best option. And I had a responsibility because I had dancers that were with me at the other organization and students. So the studio was the first nest egg thing to get going.
Yeah.
And then the company came after that. Because
Where's your studio located?
It's on Houston Avenue, 1302. It's in the
amazing.
back. We
Nice.
share a building with F45, which is a gym.
Yep.
And then Republic Aerial Yoga, which is a yoga studio.
Is that right next to like Stanton's?
That's right.
I live right there.
Oh, great.
I live in the town.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
right
right there in the
Yep.
back parking lot.
Nice.
So,
Take a dance class. I
you
want to see
should
it.
come take a dance class.
No, don't let this man get on
It's
dance
HTown Happy
floor.
Hour on the road.
He has bad
You
bad
could
knees.
do it
He
on
has
the
bad
road.
knees. And we
Maybe-
don't need his ACL torn again,
Listen,
all right?
I will wear knee braces.
No.
Maybe we
No.
do a vlog
You can take
where we go do a
hip-hop.
dance. Maybe we do like a vlog with it.
Yeah.
And we come do a dance class.
You guys should totally come.
I took a dance class and first off, I love performing arts.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be
I
dramatic,
took
Derek.
I was going to school for theater and stuff, and I wanted to be an actor when I was in first in college, and so I took
You ain't lying.
we had to take a dance class.
Yeah, of course.
And at first, like I just this is the worst thing ever. This is terrible. This is gonna suck. And like after one or two classes, 3 or 4 classes, all of a sudden I'm the most excited every time. And we're learning
always
the waltz.
excited.
You're going to be my
Yeah.
dance partner today, right?
I got to learn the waltz. I got to learn. We did some like salsa. We did a couple hip hop classes. We had to go perform a what were they? They were super cool. Flash mob.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had to go do a flash
Yeah.
mob as a group
I've
class once.
choreographed those, yeah.
I tell you, that was one of the funnest classes I ever took.
Yeah.
People don't know, but
Yeah.
I
I mean, our
grew-
philosophy is if you can move, you can dance.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a wheelchair. Like,
That's
if you
so
can
cool.
figure out how to move your body or move your arms or move just your feet,
Yeah.
like, you can dance. And that's the Institute was founded on that accessibility to everyone,
Yeah.
and not just about who you are, but like if you want to try.
Well,
And so go ahead.
No, I 100% agree with both of what y'all are talking about right now. So whenever, like, music's always been huge for me because, like, we're 90%, 75% water, right? We're majority water. If you put a big subwoofer right next to a cup of water, what's that water gonna do?
Dance.
And so me, whenever I hear music, you know, if I'm standing in front of a giant speaker, I do boom, boom, boom. I do the same thing. And so for me, it's kind of like, you know, whenever you hear music, if you don't dance, it's almost backwards. It's like you're resisting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because,
Yep.
I mean, whenever you naturally hear something that you like, even if it's just something funky, you know what I mean? Just a quick little Bobby.
Dancing
know.
can be therapeutic. All
Oh,
right, so that's the
absolutely.
founding
Music
of.
therapy.
You
Yeah.
said that's the base of.
Houston Contemporary and the Institute,
Yeah.
just kind of came out of, as you're saying, take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Well, and
I did.
Beautiful.
the idea of access too, I think, is really kind of crosses both our paths as well. I mean, the idea that that's our number one value is access, and the idea that we've moved to a pay what you wish model. You pay what you want to come to the concerts. If you don't pay anything, I'll take you to coffee and ask you for money. But that's beside the point.
It's extortion outside of that, man.
That is how it works. But
A-types, A-types.
Yeah, no, coffee, lunch, coffee, and maybe wine. And I'm like, happy hour. Where's the wine? I just don't know. But no,
We need to get HTown Happy Hour wine,
you
don't
do.
we? Wouldn't
Let's
that be
go
cool?
crush our own grapes. Let's do it.
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down.
All right, let's do
HTown
it.
Happy Hour wine.
Hey, I have
Derek.
White
Take it
Claws.
on the road.
If you want a seltzer, I have White Claws.
Ew.
Okay. No, they're
That's
I
not.
am
what I'm
not
talking about.
16
Do that
years old.
again.
Wait,
Listen,
16,
do that again.
21 years
not
old.
ours.
Ew.
They're actually Reed's, like one of our architects. So.
Okay, well, my son took a bottle of wine and some charcuterie to his friend. He's like, I'm
charcuterie
my
board.
parents. Anyway, and he had to drink a White Claw after to feel young again. Anyway, but yeah, access is our number one value. And we've, for all these years, left all our music up for free listening on our site. So if you go to ROCO.org, you can actually hear to all of our past concerts for free. And that's important to us, even our live streams. And then what I realized is all that music was sitting there and we'd paid for all the rights to it all these years, millions of dollars in the pot to be able to leave it up for free listening, and then QR codes resurged, right? So what I did, the first thing we did is I went along the Buffalo Bayou and I planted QR codes all along the trails so that you
Yeah.
could listen to our music for free as you walk around. But now it's exploded. We're in 20 different places: Texas Children's Hospital, Menninger Clinic. We're now on the Arboretum playlists, on the walk paths, and it's just so exciting. TSU, Texas Southern. We've created a QR code for our Black composers, our Jewish composers, women composers. It's just so exciting.
Every
to see.
different genre that you could want.
Every possible one. And then what we did is broke our entire playlist of hundreds and hundreds of hours of listening into 3 mood-based QRs: soothing, bold, and joyful. So
Wow.
you can choose your musical adventure. And Precinct 2 parks, they're all over the Precinct 2 parks. And there's no end to this. And that's
Yeah.
and it's going to be at the post as well. The QRs, we're probably going to hide them somewhere. I don't know yet what we're going to do.
Do your own graffiti work
Totally.
with your QR codes.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Do it.
Hey,
Exactly.
mentioning too, even Outspoken Bean, he's going to be writing
Yep.
some
Yes.
He told me
hidden
that.
poems throughout the building as
So
well.
exciting.
On the pillars.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
on
know
the
that.
pillars.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's gonna be
He
many,
needs to go all the
little-
way down the stairs, so you have to follow down the circle.
I don't know if you're gonna
There's
let them
so
ride on the
much
stairs. I don't know if
space.
Kirby's gonna let people ride on the stairs.
Okay.
Columns?
Oops,
Yeah.
don't.
Stairs.
Okay.
Existing.
But then also, you're not even allowed to wear shoes on them right now.
Okay, that's right. You said that. That's
This is true.
Well, and also there's some seriously fascinating views up there, and so we don't want to. I'm sure don't want to.
obscure it.
Yeah, because I mean there is like some gorgeous architect work in there.
absolutely.
I mean you walk in there and you're like, another room with what?
Yeah.
I know.
You know, if
it's
it's this
fascinating.
staircase or that one, or I mean even the rooftop. I mean just like that,
Yeah.
being able to see right at the footsteps of Houston. I'm like, wow.
It's incredible.
So
Pretty cool.
first off, I want to commend you on like y'all are really staying ahead of the curve. Like y'all have taken music and figured out how to keep it up with technology.
Oh, yeah.
And like putting
It's
these QR codes there, like.
Oh, thank
touche.
you. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. I've seen on people's
Thank you.
stories, like them just posting
Oh,
those.
thanks. Yeah, it's
So-
super fun to discover, and truly, I don't want to say the word literally, it's always overused, but actually, that's the right word, putting QRs throughout our city. And one of the other things we do, you were talking about during the concerts, is we have an app that people use. So the phones are on during concerts, and
Yeah.
the house lights are on, so you don't have to worry about your phone shining or anything. And we have commentary that one of our really sarcastic musicians writes about one of the pieces on the program,
Cool.
and you read his commentary, and he usually does it on the pieces like Beethoven or something that's something you wouldn't expect. And it's not about Beethoven. It's like this weird kind of VH1 pop-up video style style, down a rabbit hole type stuff. And you'll hear people laughing in the middle of Beethoven, and it's so awesome. And so that's a big part of what we do too.
Honestly, like,
It's cool.
I don't listen to a lot of like modern day music. I do sometimes, like in the car. I like to just not listen to music,
Yeah,
just
me
so I
neither.
can think.
Can't.
And then, but when I'm needing to get stuff done, like if I'm deep in work and stuff, I put on classical music.
Interesting.
I put on classical music.
I can't do that. That makes me start going, what?
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
ADD again.
Yeah. So
Well, it's funny. A long time ago, I had like a kitten,
Yeah.
and it
Why
was
was it a kitten?
Yeah.
because it wasn't a cat yet.
It wasn't.
It was still a
It
kitten.
wasn't kitten.
Kitten,
It
not
was
a
a kitten.
It wasn't kitten.
Well, I told you I'm losing my voice, so I have to enunciate. You know what I mean?
I'm just
It was a
making
little-
fun of you. I'm just
it
like,
was a
here,
little
that's
kitty
what I'm
cat,
gonna do.
a little kitty cat.
Aw.
And I was looking at it, I was like, man, this rambunctious little thing needs to calm its ass down. Google, how do you calm a little cat down? Kitten down. And it was like, play some classical music. And so I started
Did it
playing
work?
some classical jams, and Bud chilled out.
Well,
Yeah, no,
Classical
it was
jams.
good.
I know, I know.
Well, and also it goes
Slow
right on.
dance.
It goes right on cue
Gonna
with.
dance with his cat. Kid dancer.
Yeah, damn.
Cat dancer. That's what I'm calling
Yeah,
you
I
from
do.
now. You're the cat dancer.
Big cat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
we're,
I like
we're
it,
actually
I
both
like it, I like
lions.
it.
If you didn't know, we're both
Yeah,
lions.
we're
Do you
both-
still
we're
have
bo-
this kitten?
we're-
Or is
no.
it? Oh.
No, the old owner was like, "Hey, we want to buy it back," and I was on the way to take it to the vet. My roommate at the time had smacked the cat off and broke his leg, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, if you want
We should
the
be
cat,
arrested.
I was like, if you want the cat back, you can, but you have to pay for this vet bill. It's about $300. And he was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, sure. Let me get Bud taken care of, and I'll get him back to you.
Okay,
Wow.
so
I don't have a cat. And now I
That's
have
a
2 dogs.
downer.
I have 2 dogs now, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we
You
kind
made
of
up.
we kind of
1 cat equals 2 dogs. Okay, good. I
we kind
believe
of
that.
touched
Yeah.
on like how y'all stayed ahead of the game with social media technology and everything. Why don't you, Marlana, kind of
Yeah.
how does social media affect the dance world and your studio and everything?
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate enough, like I said, to do a second season during the pandemic
Yeah.
in the space that I had. So like that was kind of made for a reason, it seemed. And we put in some infrastructure for some lighting. And we were able to do shows throughout the year, and then we rebroadcast them. So another connection we have here is my husband is the owner of Bend Productions, which is a production company, does multicam live streams and video shoots. He works for ROCO. He works for the opera.
Works for a lot
I
of
mean,
people.
a lot of
He's
people
insane.
here in the city.
Yeah.
He has, I call him an octopus. He has a lot of arms and legs.
Nice.
So he filmed like one of the pieces we did in the round, which means the audience sits in a circle and the dancers are in the middle, and he filmed it with a gimbal walking around them.
Oh, that is so
So when we
cool.
rebroadcast that, same thing. We didn't have millions of views, but we definitely had
that's
like
great.
I think 16 states and 2
So
from
cool.
2 or 3
Wow.
from Canada. Like,
Yeah.
and that was just kind of putting it out there.
Yep.
And then just in general, like the dance world is small in a way. Like everybody I went to school with and people that I've known over the years have said like, you're doing a really good job. Everything looks really great on the
Yeah.
outside. And it is amazing on the inside. I
Yeah.
have founded it with 6 people. I had lost 2 during the pandemic. So now I have 4 founding members and I have 2 guests that I rotate. But this concert, which is another exciting thing about what's happening is we're starting tomorrow, but we are working on, I'm including 17 other people that live here in the city.
Wow.
Some
Beautiful.
students from Houston Ballet, some
Yeah.
other just connections and people that are contemporary dancers. The dance world, unlike music, is a little bit more project based.
So are
usually.
these people that you've
Right.
watched
Just I've
do their
seen-
thing, and you're like, hey, I have an idea. I want you to come.
Well, I kind of
with
just
me.
said like this collaboration has come to fruition. I need more bodies. Like I
Yeah.
can't have 4 bodies on the stairs. I mean, they're in that video.
We're doing
and they
big
look
stuff.
Great,
Yeah,
but,
we
like,
need more people.
we need to fill it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a huge space and it's like a lot of steps. So we have 17 just Houston artists that are here that are willing to work, kind of in the day and then do the performances. And then we have the 6 with the company. And then I have my resident choreographer, who's a beautiful mover and good dear friend of mine. He is going to be doing one of the pieces as a solo. And then we are also including students from HSPVA, and I also have a second company called Houston Contemporary 2. These are middle school and high school students, so
Oh, cool.
I'm including just the high school students.
Incorporating
And they're
them.
going to be
That's
a
gonna
part
be
of
great
this as
exposure
well.
for
So we're
them.
calling them the Greek chorus. They're
Oh,
going to kind of be
cute.
at the very top, which I think we
Doing
talked about.
very
It's
cool.
like
Don't go in too much detail though.
like
The
50
show will be
It
here
will.
soon.
But
Yes.
like, it's like 50 feet up.
Yeah,
So
it is.
So if y'all want to tune into the excitement, make sure to be there. Don't forget it.
It's gonna be great.
And for the dancers, I've been like, if you're afraid of heights, you got to let me know. I have one that's very afraid of heights that will be kind of on the
He
floor.
didn't want to go all the way up the stairs to the
That's
post
so
to the roof
funny.
part. He was like, I'll go the elevator this
But
way.
we did a photo shoot
That's
there, and
hilarious.
it was awesome. We were
Yeah.
able to get some
That's
video
great.
footage, but then we were also able to shoot our season footage,
Yeah.
season photos. And Derek was awesome letting us use the roof and seeing the beautiful skyline of the city. And then they had their
know.
gala.
Oh
I
my
mean, there's
gosh.
been
breathtaking.
so many.
it was
You have to
ridiculous.
come.
Yes.
Like,
Go- you need to see our Facebook page.
Also, I want to say thank y'all too, because we
rolled the
love
dice, baby.
having the performing arts and like
Yeah.
getting to show this side of Houston. Like we're all about Houston culture. H-Town Happy Hour as well as Post Love It commercial.
So cool.
You know, we look for it. Outspoken Bean.
Yeah.
I mean, all different. We have during the grand opening too, which I know y'all will be performing at as well, right? Correct? Maybe.
I don't know yet. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
don't know.
Possibly.
We're there.
At least
tell
as an
us.
oboe, I'll bring my oboe.
But,
Just do
Do,
it
yeah,
walk
do a
on.
custom
I'll
piece.
just walk
Do a
around.
custom piece. That'll have. Yeah, y'all
do
can
dance
collab
class.
right
You
there.
know we could do that. We could do it right now.
We'll just do it right now.
Wait, you didn't bring an instrument? I
Sorry.
thought you were gonna play something for
No,
us.
sorry. I'm so sorry. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, right. She's messing with us. She's a jokester. She probably brought it.
I didn't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
she didn't.
Okay.
But I do have a prop.
She,
Is it the QR code that's
QR
passed all around?
I'll hold it for 2 seconds. You
Yeah,
get your phone
everyone
out.
who's tuning in, make sure to get your phones out. Get it, get it, get it.
Okay. I'm just kidding. All right.
no, but
That's
we're,
awesome.
we're all about the culture and the culture of Houston and the performing arts as well. It's
Well, it's a cultural downtown
it
destination.
is. It's a cultural campus.
What it's called.
Right. And we're all about H-Town culture in general. It's
Oh, no,
H-Town
it's,
Happy Hour.
yeah, like
That's why.
it's H-Town or die.
Yes.
No, and it's so funny because, I mean, what's happening with this is going to be so far off of what anyone has seen around here.
Right.
Because, I mean, everyone knows how diverse it is already down here. And then to bring it like, hey, no, here's a place where you can literally sit down and do everything you want from this culture to that culture to this.
Everything.
Yeah, anything that's there. Like, I think it was funny. I was like, it's going to rival the Galleria, but I was like, no.
No, it's not the Galleria.
It's 1,000 times bigger than that.
totally
Well, see, and that's how big
Right.
this idea is,
Right.
and this concept is, because I was like, how do you describe what like a competitor or rival would be to someone who doesn't have any idea what we're talking about?
Right.
And it's like, you can't.
Well, what I've
have
seen
to
you
be
bringing
there.
in are the uniqueness of Houston. That's what you've
Yeah.
been bringing in.
Yes,
It's not.
exactly.
It's a historic building.
Right,
It is.
exactly.
It's been there
It
for
is.
years.
I mean,
Did I already say I had bad memories from there? I don't know if I
Yes,
did
you
in the
did.
actual interview here. I don't know if I started there.
Was it from packaging and sending out lots of things? I
Yeah.
think
Bulk
you did.
mail.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, but it's fabulous. It's so exciting. Just
Yeah.
it's the food you're bringing in and the
Yep.
spaces and the plants you're putting out there. And
Right.
from all of that is diverse and interesting.
Yes. And I mean, it's all different cultures too, like we're mentioning. I mean, even from food, we have everything from like a West African cuisine, chopping block coming in from
Norwegian fish
We have
company?
a Norwegian seafood market coming, and then also even in the arts. I mean, we have country music. We have Toby Ngigwe, I believe is how I say it. He's like very good lyricist. He's doing a big performance at our concert venue. I mean, we had a photo shoot with Slim Thug. We have Whiskey Myers. We have
Isn't
Chelsea
Willie Nelson
Handler.
opening?
As it stands, yes.
Oh.
But then talk about
Oh,
the
my
theater
bad.
too. There's like a theater that's based off of. I mean, Kirby told me it was kind of designed off of a theater in Germany.
Yes. So the
It's like a stand-up like concert
not heard of
venue.
this.
It's
exactly
huge.
the concert
No
venue,
seats.
the Live Nation.
Oh, the Live Nation space.
It's like
yeah.
a stand-up
It's
space.
insane. Yeah, like
So
yeah.
the
Smush it in.
whole first floor is 3,000 people like GA
Right.
standing,
Right.
and it's got the very industrial vibe to it.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep the character and the integrity of the building, and it's inspired by like Berlin old like
concert venues,
World
yeah.
War concert venues. These industrial just concrete bunkers
Like
built.
brutal. Yeah, brutal
Yeah,
art.
very brutalist.
Really?
Yes.
Well, and it's interesting too. We didn't know what acoustics would be. I mean, it was just a small
one did.
concert for our gala to introduce the space and then have dinner, right?
Yeah.
And drinks. But we were shocked at how amazing the acoustics are
Yep.
in the Z Atrium.
It's
I mean,
incredible.
to the point where we probably need to do a concert there again.
Absolutely.
Because in Houston, there are not that many music venues.
Yeah.
There are not. Even the match is great. We're there. But just finding the place that has really good acoustics for an orchestra, a chamber orchestra, the difference between a chamber orchestra and an orchestra, which I know you're going to ask that. I saw it in your eyes.
Yeah,
I know. I'm reading your mind, my friend.
Come on.
A big symphony orchestra is 100 players, and chamber music is like 4 to 6 players, and then chamber orchestra is 40, and it's kind of a unique animal. Lots of music written for it. There's not that many in the nation. A lot of people say chamber orchestra, and they're really 18-piece string orchestras, but chamber orchestra has all the winds and brass you've seen in band and lots of percussion, and it's really fun to have that intimacy when you hear even a Beethoven symphony. You hear all the pieces, and that's what's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, and I was gonna say, I mean, it's like, you know, all of them coming together like that, you know, with like you said, with the string quartets and stuff like that. I mean, that, I'm sure, have there been places where you've gone before and you're like, we might not want to come back here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it.
Right. Well, see, well, that's what I'm saying. All the more reason to come back over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It
So,
really is a
it's
cultural
exciting.
campus.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful.
Some people are like, oh, so is it like a mall? Is it, or what is it? What is it? We'll tell them everything we have going on, and everyone's like, well, what is it? And honestly, just over the years, we kind of realized like it's a cultural campus.
Yeah, it is. I would completely agree with that.
And also, like I was even saying, I mean, how do you really describe it? Because it's like if someone's asking, like, well, what is it? I was trying to tell somebody, I was telling him about HTown Happy Hour, and he was trying to give me an idea for how I could do networking events. And I was like, what, buddy? I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, no, maybe you ever thought going to like a axe throwing place? And I was like, dude, what? I was like, bro, the kind of work that we're doing right now, cultural campuses is our really main focus right now.
Right.
And just kind of a way to just be like, hey, shut up, dude. What are you talking about? Go to axe throwing and network.
I like axe throwing.
Well, and it was just one of those things. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to get back to doing my work, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
But thanks for asking, man.
Well, it's funny because when we have, I'm sure you get it, people asking questions, and I love them all. Like, what's an oboe? Most people don't know. It's a double reed instrument, and that's what we're there to do, right? We both have that same philosophy of just bringing people into what we do. You don't need to know anything coming in the door. You don't need to know it's Mozart. Most people say Mozart, and it's like pizza. Mozart, you know, and now you know. Now, you didn't have to know that beforehand. And we even put pronunciation guides for composers' names so you don't feel stupid. We put timings of pieces in case you hate a piece, you know how much longer it is. And, you know, it's like the Houston weather. That's how I program. If you don't like something, wait 15 minutes. It'll change. So just things like that. And I think that's what we try to do is bring people into it without making them feel dumb. And that's really important to me that people can ask any question of us. And I don't do that. What? Thing.
Well, okay, so if you were to talk to somebody maybe 20 years ago who was like, you know, I'd like to get into something like you are or like one of y'all are doing, what kind of golden nuggets would you give to maybe younger years of people who
did it this morning? Somebody called me, but
I would say be persistent and like just really focus on what you want and get a good group of cheerleaders and mentors and people that you can trust around you to kind of support and back you, because it's hard. It's hard.
Also, don't be afraid to have people that say no to you all the time. But failing forward, like you talked about, that's important. But yeah, I think also just having so many tools like Dora the Explorer in your backpack, like go through life. I do a lot of talking to entrepreneurialism in the arts to college students, and just put tools in your backpack. Like I was a DJ at one point, and it was classical music, station. So whatever.
That's cool.
No, it was fun.
I mean, that's one of those experiences in your tool belt.
Right,
that's
exactly.
all it is.
That's my point. And
it's a different hat that you can wear whenever you go out.
Right. And so you learn those things and you get those skills and you acquire them. But it's also important that if you're going to do an actual group that you're starting, you've got to cast the quest. You can't just, I want to do a concert.
Talking about like the vision?
Yes, you have to have bigger vision than this next concert, this next year. It's like why and where and what do you fit in and who's involved. And really who's involved is probably the most important part. We have a whole no jerks allowed policy in our board bylaws. No kidding.
Nice.
But I think that's important. It's kind of like I read way too much fantasy stuff. I'm in the middle of the 5th book of Wheel of Time now, rereading that whole thing. But the idea that you are the dungeon master and you cast the quest and you're saying, follow me. And that's what she's done so beautifully. Of like, here's what's happening. Get on the train and let's go. And people love that and they support that. And they come, and especially when you make room for, like, I don't want to just say, hey, I want to play this piece. Come do dance to it. I mean, that's kind of gross. I love to kind of
it's not really like a relationship building.
Correct.
It's more of like like, like I'm saying, like the times have changed. Like a lot of, like my, I don't want to call my dad out, but he's in sales also, and he's been an entrepreneur his whole life. And some of the things and methods that he's done, I've watched and listened to him, and I'm like, nowadays, it's not the same zingers as it used to be. It's not the one-liner zingers anymore that like, hey, what do I got to say to make you buy this? You know, it's more of those building relationships, and that's why people do business with you, because they know you, people like you, and trust you.
People want to do business with people they like.
Yeah, it's either they know you, they like you, or they trust you. They're not going to do business any other reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, I can't do art with people I don't like. I don't want to do art with people I don't like.
Right.
No, and it's crazy that Kirby found me after all those years.
So great.
I'm glad he did.
I'm glad he did too.
This event's gonna be amazing, and I look forward to our continued relationship
for
as
sure.
well. It's gonna be a
Absolutely.
blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to touch on. Nowadays, it's more about the relationship building
Right.
and maintaining of that, because it's not just like, hey, we're going to do good work, and now we did good work. See ya.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how you evolve and grow.
That's right. And all the collaborations, all the when we commission a work, we also we have a piece next September. We're premiering a guitar concerto by Michael Abels. He's the one who wrote the music for the movie Get Out.
Wow.
And he's an amazing African American Hollywood composer. And so we introduced one of his pieces. He's already written our concert last weekend called Delights and Dances. And then that was the one with all strings that kind of sounded like a hoedown a little bit. And it was so good. It was so good. And so now he's really into the rock world, and we're going to premiere it. And so it's fun to kind of introduce them and go, wait, I've seen that name before, so it's not completely unique. And then if you like their piece, you recommission them. And then you take that piece and offer it to another orchestra and say, hey, you need to play this piece. And so it's just kind of a continuing maelstrom to kind of stir up the creativity in our world.
And everyone do people put their own spin on it too? With it, whenever they're getting passed along,
as much as they can. And that's what's fun to premiere a piece, because we premiered this piece by Rena S. Mills, probably one of our most popular pieces. You probably would love to dance to this. She involved a lot of Indian raga dances in the sound of it, and we premiered it, and she changed it quite a bit for the next orchestra to it, because she heard we workshopped it a little bit, and orchestras don't get to do that, whereas dancers have to in the space. Like she has to be in the space and know what she's going to do to choreograph.
Yep.
But we don't really get that opportunity. So.
Are you sure I have to be there? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I'll be there.
You could be the 18th dancer.
18th man.
Get your shuffle on, bro. Get your shuffle on.
But I mean, with contemporary dance, it's similar because we're a repertory company, so we bring in artists, but they only have like a week or 2 weeks or a month, or I had a choreographer for a set of work before the pandemic. We just put it back together. And he zoomed in because he's still in New York, and it's like now he's watching rehearsal that way. So, I mean, that's kind of the cool thing. And we commission and license works for 2 to 3 years, and then afterwards, a lot of the choreographers that I've worked over in the past have taken those works and set it at a university or on this company in New York or this company in LA or whatever.
That's how it works with some choreographs, huh? You license it.
Choreographers, So I bring them in. So I'm kind of like a presenter in a way for Houston, because I'm trying to look at like what's kind of happening now in contemporary dance. And I like to look for established and mature artists, because there's a lot of kids that have they're in college or just graduated, and they have a lot of Instagram followers, and it's like, bring them down. It's like, ooh. I think I'd rather work with someone that really has a true artistic vision and can make something and is able to work with my budget. I mean, there's so many things to it. So
it's not all about how many followers you have, especially in the artistic world.
It's just been hard.
Well, and then
Like,
also,
those
even
things.
on top of that, like I look at it like with people who do like football or basketball, sometimes when people are interviewing them, they start kind of like, I just want to play football.
Yeah.
Like, what
You're
do
like,
you mean you want me? What do you mean you
I'm
want me
just
to
here so I
social
don't
media?
get fined.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly, man. They're just like, man,
Marshall
they just want to do their sport or their art that they're good at that they practice their entire life.
Right.
And so
It doesn't work like that anymore, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. I mean, Juilliard and conservatories are training people to go after jobs that aren't there, and that's what the drum I beat all the time. But this is something else I just discovered.
How do they get away with that? How do they get away with that?
I mean, it's just the industry. It's all the conservatories.
Academia.
The dance too. Academia has made its own thing, not just in music, but the fact that I have a passion for professionals that don't have those opportunities, and we don't commission students. We don't have students in the orchestra. We don't do that because there are professionals out there that not just need. Actually, my musicians don't need a job. They're international, neither do yours. They're international soloists or people who you want to be on stage with, but at the same time, that's who I want to pour into, so they pour back out. And that's what's exciting, is seeing that. And with us, we commission, a lot of times, I mean, 120 world premieres, every one of them has a unique story, just like the uniqueness of the individual. I get asked, how do you do that? You know, and I mean, each story is
to be
different.
themselves.
Right. Well, and either I'll give money to a musician in the orchestra and they pick the composer and commission it based on their personality, like our trombonist. He wanted a piece based on a Swedish Dag Hammerstein, who died in a plane crash in the 50s, who was the Swedish ambassador. So we got a woman composer to write this piece based on Dag, D-A-G. Anyway, just those kind of nuggets that are buried in all these works. And like we're doing a piece specifically for the cistern. You know, have you been to the cistern at the skate park? We're getting a piece written by Marcus Maroney, a Houston composer, for brass players to stand at every corner.
Wow.
And there's
the acoustics in there are awesome.
It's crazy. There's a 13-second
they
delay.
do a lot of like immersive and digital art in there too. It's
exactly.
very cool.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool to see.
Yeah, and here, exactly.
Here,
exactly. No, I think that's what's exciting, is just finding all these places, and you guys have contributed probably the most gargantuan thing since Houston's history. I'm not kidding. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
That's a nice compliment.
Yeah,
it is. Something I want to unpackage a little too is Marlana, you had mentioned it, talking about like, I guess social media is a great thing, but it also it has its negatives.
Yeah.
It's I think in a lot of industries now, like not just the art world, but a lot of industries, it's all about how many followers you get.
Yep.
And the art gets kind of lost.
Yes.
It really does.
Yeah. I mean, and our audience is younger, but, you know, there are a lot of the dancers, family, friends, but just people that like contemporary art
So
here in the
how do you
city.
separate on your own look? Like as you're out there, like looking for talent, you know, how do you separate that, man, they might just be doing it for the hype versus, no, I see it in you. I want you.
Yeah, well, talking to people. Like I just found an artist last night that seemed young, but not for the company. It would be for the second company and like, or maybe a teacher. But then some of these kids come out of these colleges and they have these really high bills, and it's like, okay, well, you just graduated school. So I'm not sure how we feel about that. So, you know, it's just a way of kind of taking a risk. And I, in my past organization, took lots of risks, and a lot of them fell very flat.
Right.
Wow.
Didn't really.
The past organization,
Yeah,
right?
like the commissions that I hired, the people that sometimes it doesn't work out. But as a director and as kind of a founder and as a presenter in a way, you take those risks and you give that person that opportunity to create, because they might not have it ever again, like she's doing as well. So. And then most of the time knock on wood, everything for Houston Contemporary so far has been amazing. And you know, I really take care of the artist, but also take care of the work once the artist leaves. So it's up to me and my rehearsal assistant to kind of keep the integrity of the work.
Now,
and
do you like
making sure
having that kind of responsibility more than you had with your other work? Because I feel like that's going to level you up.
Yeah, I think I do. I like having that. I like to see the performance. I like to see the dancers grow within the work. And my dancers are all over 27. Like they're older for dance, you know. I mean, they're mature, and like it's great to. And all four of them have been with me since. I mean, I moved here. A lot of them, you know, all four of them. At some point, they came in my life, and they're still in my life. So, taking care of them right now is important. But I also know in like 4 or 5 years, they might retire, they might have children, they might get married, they might want to not dance. So
yeah, well, like what's the turnover rate for dancers? I mean, like, are they just kind of like, hey, my hip's giving out, I can't do this anymore?
These four are very resilient, and they're very they do take care of themselves. But a lot of younger dancers don't. You know, and as a dance studio owner and as a director of a youth company as well, or second company, that is our job, is to educate
them and train them to take care of themselves.
I mean, the Institute is a training facility. It's to train you how to be a better dancer, to go to college. And we assist with that too.
And I'm sure it's not just about, you know, how high, you know, can you do this, or, you know, how deep is your, what is it, plie? What is the word?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, you know, more about like, you know, the different avenues that you can do as somebody who wants to be a dancer. You can do it, you know, there's different pillars that you have to address to become
a teacher.
And we're not a competitive studio. Like competitive dance down here in the South and drill team and dance team are very popular, but we don't do that. We teach you the technique to get to the next level of your dancing. So all of our kids.
It's not to embarrass the other people. It's to express yourself.
Knock down.
But there's a whole business in competitive dance.
Do you still enjoy dancing?
I do. I teach. I teach a lot of the little kids at the institute. I do teach the company occasionally, and then I have opportunities like this one to kind of choreograph on adults and kind of work through what works. We just did something at the CAM last weekend, and so like that was a 2-year project that we finally had a performance. And then the following weekend after this show, we're doing something at Jones Hall with SPA, the Houston Commissioning Project that they're doing.
It's a beautiful building. Jones Hall, I love the building.
It is
honestly.
pretty.
Like,
I mean, it needs a little bit of.
I'm actually, man. I work with architects all day, so I'm thinking about the outside. I love the outside of it.
It's really interesting, especially what they're doing now in front of it, the new plaza.
Well, in the plaza, Well,
I haven't actually been inside. Sorry.
Good. No,
it's okay. No, it's just very dated, I think.
Sometimes it's hard for acoustics, but it's a good sight lines in there.
Yes.
But I will say I loved what you said about relationships, because that's what ROCO is all about, is relationships.
Yeah.
And my first concert master was somebody that I was at Juilliard with, and we got to play together, and then Kristen Wolf Jensen is our principal bassoonist, and she and I were in a trio I started when I was at Juilliard that did gigs, background gigs,
So
weddings.
you've been in this entrepreneurial world for a long time. You've always been starting groups and recruiting people.
It was called Trio Trouvert, and we did background
truth.
gigs, but I do not play background. Nobody puts baby in the corner anymore. That's what I say. But I did do this many gigs with Kristen and this woman, Kathy Ransom, in New York, and we played things like a mafia wedding in Long Island. We did a Catskills Montessori. I have so many stories, and someday going to do this at the Improv Comedy Show. I'm not
Catskill
joking.
Montessori?
No, at the Catskill Montessori.
Montessori.
Yeah, that's
Montessori,
right. That
yeah.
sounded
It's a school.
No, Catskills, the monks, the Buddhists.
Monastery.
Thank you. Oh my Lord, I can't think of the word.
I was like, my grandma
Montessori.
started Montessori schools.
My Montessori.
You put that
did
in
they
my
really?
head.
Yeah, they did.
Anywho,
that's awesome.
Great
That's
gig,
awesome.
great
Yeah.
gig stories. So yeah.
Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna preface this as a challenge to you.
Ooh.
At your gala,
I got
at
the stare.
You were talking about acoustics, and Reed, which take this. He's also the guy that has the White Claws in the fridge. But listen, he cried. He cried while y'all were performing.
That's so
He cried.
nice.
He was watching it, and he was just like, he was overwhelmed with just like emotion, and that's what art is. We were talking about it earlier. It's
I
about
love that.
provoking emotion,
Connecting.
and he literally he started not like
Yeah, because I would have been like, be quiet.
yeah, for sure.
We're performing here.
Did my walkie-talkie went off?
Yeah, I
during
know,
the-
I heard you.
Oh my god, that was mine.
And I was
I'm
like,
so-
text. I seriously, in the middle of the concert, got my phone off the stand, texted, and said, tell Derek
It was
to
split
stop talking.
second. I wasn't talking.
Okay, well-
Did he say something wild? I wasn't there for that. What happened?
I wasn't talking.
Was he screaming again? Was he screaming again?
My walkie-talkie went off,
Yeah, it
but the
did.
second so we're getting earpieces. Never will that happen again. We're gonna do earpieces.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So I take this as a challenge to you. I want someone
What,
to cry.
making someone
I
cry?
want someone to
Oh,
cry.
nice.
Well, hopefully the people that are
beautiful.
coming haven't seen any live music or
Yeah.
dance yet,
Yeah.
because when you have that experience,
Yeah.
it's pretty emotional, because
Yeah.
there's difference between looking at a screen and then seeing the real people in front
I've
of you
never
and
seen
feeling
a
the
real
emotion.
choreographed
I know, I
performance
can't
like
wait.
this before. It's my first one. I'm so
Oh,
excited
cool.
for it.
But
I'm
there are
so
lots
excited.
of ways to make people cry.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I was gonna say, well, my life's not the best right now, so I'll probably tear up a little bit while I'm there. Just like Derek, I wish you was better, man.
Are you coming?
I got
Of
nice.
course, of course, I'll be there.
Aw.
I wouldn't miss this.
And
Come
Houston
on.
needs to come
Yes.
October
Yeah.
9th.
October 9th.
Yes.
It's gonna be
Shout out, y'all better be
freaking-
there.
7 o'clock
Y'all better be there.
VIPs, 8 o'clock.
It's gonna be a blast.
Not VIPs.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
No, I know.
Well, okay. First off, this was an amazing episode.
Yeah. Hashtag
Y'all-
ROCO
that felt
Houston.
like 5
Hashtag
minutes.
what? What's your hashtag?
Yeah, well,
HTDC.
Hashtag
okay, so
ROCO Houston.
let's. How can we find you? What's
Go.
your Instagram?
At Houston Contemporary.
At Houston Contemporary.
Or at IC Dance HTX.
Okay, I see Dance HTX and
On all the channels, hashtag ROCO Houston.
Okay,
And
and
please
Show
put the
the
Houston
QR
there.
code again.
Please
Show
put the
QR.
Houston there, because there are like random things
Yeah.
throughout the world called ROCO. So, all right, ROCO.
and at ROCO Houston as well. And
At
hashtag.
ROCO Houston in the
Yes.
hashtag, and at ROCO Houston.
Y'all
Yes.
shoot them a follow. And come by October 9th. It's gonna be beautiful. It's
Go
gonna be
along the
amazing.
bayou. Have fun
Yep.
now that it's
Only
actually
one
great
night.
weather.
It's
You only
only
get
one night.
one chance
And
to
we'll,
see it.
That's
we'll
right.
probably never do it again. No,
Ever.
we will.
We're
We will.
filming
We're
it.
telling
We'll broadcast
We
it.
know-
We just want
telling
them
them.
to come.
We
want
just
them to come. Yeah.
We know where you are. We're gonna be back.
No, we will definitely do it again.
Live,
but I want,
live is better.
I want them to come see this live.
Yeah,
It's
for
gonna
sure.
be beautiful.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, that was a blast. That was so much fun. All right.
Yeah. What'd you do, Sidewinder?
No,
what was that?
It's a TIE Fighter. All I'm doing.
Okay. TIE Fighter. What was the other one?
That's precious. That's precious.
What was the other one?
Snails.
Snail.
Okay.
My favorite one is
Turkey.
Paper Covers Rock.
Oh, okay.
Is that kind of boring? Is that boring?
That was boring. That's boring.
Y'all are boring.
Right.
Hey, thanks for tuning in, man.
Episode 22 down in the books.
Episode 22, man. Be in there. Stay tuned.
Joe on the ones and twos.
Joe,
you killed it. We love you, brother.
Got you, bro.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Tune in next
All right.
week for the next
Thanks.
episode. Absolutely. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Bye.